Hey friends, Lucian here with the Bullish Bears team. Wanted to make this video on the Marubozu candlestick pattern. So you can see the stock here, SPOK. You'll see this very large green candle, and as you can see, no lower or upper wicks or shadows. So this signifies the bulls are really in control and showing potential continuation upwards, right? You can see it's engulfing three candlesticks pretty much over here. So this is showing the bulls are kind of coming in, trying to take control. You can see heavy volume, and then you can kind of see it basically somewhat flagging up diagonally, right? A little bit choppy, but that's what it's trying to signify, right? Let's take a look at some other ones. CBB. If we can zoom in over here, you can see this one right here on CBB. Very huge red candlestick down, has a tiny little shadow, but this is showing you and signifying bears are in control. You can see another one over here, right? Full bodied, showing that the bears are in control. Full big candlestick, little to no upper shadow, right? Or wick. You call them wicks or shadows, whatever you want to call them. Again, we try to tell people don't get bogged down in the minutia. A lot of times things look like each other. Pennants look like triangles. Flags look like wedges. Um, and whether you want to call it wicks or shadows, just know what they're trying to tell you, right? There's wicks or shadows, whatever you want to call them. Let's take a look at MNTA. You can see right here. You can see kind of a few of them. So this is where we tell people, don't get bogged down, right, in the minutia. Don't be like, hey, is that a Marubozu? I have the darndest time pronouncing this stupid candlestick. Is that a Marubozu candle? Or, hey, it's got like a couple wicks or shadows to it. So is that not a Marubozu candle? Is that something else? Just look at the story that it's trying to tell. Right here, it's got a tiny little shadow right here. These are another two really huge ones right here, right? And they got a little bit of a wick and a little bit of shadows over here. But again, don't bog yourself down saying like, is that Marubozu or something else? Look at what it's doing. Right here, major bulls. Right here, bears trying to push it down. Right here, major bulls. And then you can see again, there's always patterns within patterns. So there's single candlesticks, then there's two candlesticks together. There's also three pattern candlesticks. There's reversal patterns as well. And then when you zoom out, you can see bigger overall patterns. So you can see a big overall pattern right here. You can call this almost like a big cup, maybe starting to kind of maybe go up and form a handle. You can see a 1, 2, 3, like a triple bottom. You can call it an inverse head and shoulders, a head here, left shoulder, right shoulder, neckline. Again, if all this sounds confusing, take our candlestick courses and we just go and drill down through all of these patterns. But again, look for big candlesticks with little to no wicks or shadows showing either strong bulls or strong bears. Let's take a look at a couple more examples, right? If you look here over at the SPX, the S&P, you can see a really large one right here. No wicks or shadows, signifying right here, bears are in control, right? You can see some other bigger ones here, got a little bit of wicks and shadows, but again, these are some bigger ones. Just be aware of what's happening. You can see this is kind of a piercing pattern. The bulls are trying to pierce into this big bearish candlestick. Piercing patterns, another very popular pattern of a potential reversal. You can see it tried to reverse, went up a little bit before it failed. GBTC, as you can see here, big red Marubozu candle. And then you can see this big green one kind of came in and pierced that candle, signifying trying to reverse, trying to pierce it, trying to move it up. Kind of did before it then went in reverse. You can see another kind of a green one up here, kind of a Marubozu candle. Again, very close. Big, large candlestick. Bulls are in control, but obviously super overextended. It's going to want to reverse at some point, and then boom, here you go, this big, huge high wave candle on the way back down. So again, if you're hearing the terminology that I'm saying and like you're not understanding, high wave candles or whatever, cup and handles, head and shoulders, all that good stuff, I can't stress enough how important it is to know those patterns. They're all important. And, if you're looking to trade, you want to be able to know those patterns and practice and become a good trader first, in a virtual account. Practice, know what you're doing before you trade with real money, because traders, they're aware of these patterns and they're super important to pay attention to when trading, because it tells very important support and resistance levels. So if you look over here, here's kind of another one. You'll start to see these things pop out all over the place. There's one over there. You can see lots of them kind of popping out. Here's a bigger one here. It's got a little bit of a wick or a shadow. That's okay. You can see a bigger one over here, right? Just be aware of what it's trying to tell you. You got to be also very careful trading them. They're basically big flagpoles, right? So you got to be careful, because many times they'll pull back. You'll get a big jump up and it'll pull back before it either moves forward. Again, you got to look at the patterns overall and what the patterns are trying to tell you. Let's take a look at AT&T. Price in a downtrend, big red candle, big Marubozu candle, falling, and then obviously had some pullback here before it continued to fall. This is showing very strong bears are in control. Look at the volume. Sometimes you'll have, volume is very relative, right? So sometimes you'll see really huge candlesticks, and then sometimes the candlesticks might be small, but that volume might be relative to that particular stock, right? So when a stock like AT&T, it might look huger than some small cap penny stock, right? The last one we'll take a look at is BKE, because I think it's kind of self-explanatory, this video. Big red candlestick, very little to no wicks, and again signifying that the bears are in control. But again, don't bog yourself down in the minutia. Look for these bigger candlesticks, then look for the 2 and 3 patterns, whether it's showing, like a bull flag or a bear flag or a wedge or a reversal pattern. Again, all of these candlesticks tell a very, very important story. And that story is all about support and resistance. Buy low, sell high if you're a long. Sell high, buy low to cover if you're short. If you don't know support and resistance and you don't know patterns, you're not going to know when to enter and exit a trade. It's all about support and resistance. All the other indicators like RSI and MACD, all the other good stuff, they don't matter unless you know candlesticks first. Super, super important.